Hi, guys, and welcome to the after show for Hollywood Medium, Season 3, Episode 3. We have so much to talk about. Don't go anywhere.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Ooh. Are you feeling this?
I'm feeling this.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a good surprise.
This is Ice-T's color song. And obviously I'm very young because I don't know this. I'm showing my age. Well, my age is young though.
He also used to be on Special Victims Unit.
See, and well, he still is because they, the show is still going on. I know Ice-T more so from Special Victims Unit than I do. That's pretty sad. I'm just outing my whole hip hop.
So funny.
My whole hip hop accreditation. Hello, guys, and welcome to the after show for Hollywood Medium. Starring Tyler Henry. My name is Ava Hill, and you can find me on Instagram at the Ava Hill or on Facebook if you're ever on Facebook at the Ava Hill. At Ava Hill. I'm sorry, and I don't have a Twitter, so I'm just gonna pass it to my co-host.
Hey guys, I'm Mina Wahab. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Mina Makes Magic.
Yay! Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not a psychic, but I make the magic.
But you make the magic.
I
What
do.
magic are you Oh.
Interviewing celebrities.
Oh.
That
Okay.
type of magic.
Okay.
Movie magic.
Okay, so Mina makes the magic, guys. Now we know. Okay, so this is my first official show with the panel, and myself and Katarina and Jen did last season, and I'm so glad to be back on the panel for this season and have Mina join our little Hollywood Medium family. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Episode 3, Season 3, Time Flies. We actually talked about how we can't even believe that this show, because we just weren't even keeping up, has already had...
There's 2 seasons
There's
already.
2 previous seasons, and now we're in our 3rd season, which is, well-deserved. Tyler, I think, is a great spirit, and I'm happy that he has this platform to, to share his talents with, people who are curious about what's on the other side. I'm not curious for many reasons.
But it's interesting to see with other people. You just don't want to see it for yourself.
I don't want to see it for myself.
If you had any family members or best friends, would you go in with them to the psychic and hear about their future or their past? Or would that also freak you out? Because it's not you, it's someone that's linked to you.
Do you hear this question, guys? I don't know. I'm a skeptic when it comes to this kind of stuff, but then I see someone like Tyler and how detailed he is with the things that he does tell, celebrities that come, celebrity or not, people that come to him and, are curious about their loved ones on the other side. And it seems like he's pretty legit. However,
this episode, I feel like this episode is slowly turning me into a believer, because if you watch the other 2 episodes from this season, I kept, playing devil's advocate, and I was like...
And that's how I was...
this stuff is so generic. Yeah. What is happening right now?
Honestly,
there's no way.
That's how I was on the last season, and Jen and Katarina were so gung-ho about it. And I was on the fence for many reasons, and some are religious reasons as to why I'm a little skeptical, but at the same time, I am freaked out about it at the same time. So would I want to see would I want to listen to my family's, I guess what their messaging is to me? Yeah, and there's one person in particular that I would want to hear from, and that is my grandmother. I would like to know if she's proud of me, if she sees what I'm doing, if she has a message for my mother. I'm sure my mother would love to hear from her. But
if you had a family member that didn't speak English, would you have to go to a medium who specifically knew that language, or would I be able to be like, Tyler Henry, that's a question.
That's why Tyler has to come on the show, because
come on here.
I can't answer that question. I'm already kind of skeptical anyway, so I can't even begin to answer if he can speak in other languages or not. But
I want to know at what point you have this gift, because the crazy thing is, even with the first person we had, Niko Tortorella, the Italian guy.
Tortorella. Is he? Why am I doing this?
He's definitely Italian, because his grandfather is Lupe.
Oh, okay. Well, since we're speaking of him, and we have to talk about this, episode for this after show. Let's get into that. So Niko Tortorella. I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but you might know him from The Following and Younger. Okay. He's new to me, but obviously he's a very familiar face to many others. So his mom is a fan of Tyler Henry and wanted to be on the show. Thank goodness he has the plug to get on the show. They get on the show, and Tyler taps into Nikos' grandfather.
He keeps going, Lulu. There's a Lulu.
Lulu,
There's
Lulu,
a whatever.
Lulu,
and I'm like, Lululemon? Like, what is happening right now? But
yeah.
He starts saying Lou, and he's like, yeah, that's my grandfather.
That's my grandfather. And then on top of that, Nico was saying that the night previous, he was in the shower. A lot of details in this episode, guys, okay? He was washing himself. And while he was washing himself, he thought about saying the name Lou like 3 times. So the fact that Tyler
Beetlejuice, like say it the 3rd time he appears.
So the fact that Tyler said that 3 times freaked him out. And so he tapped into his grandfather, and his grandfather acknowledged that Nico had an alcohol problem that Nico has now overcome. And so his grandfather was saying, "Good job for you. I'm proud of you." What else?
I mean, the thing that I thought was the most interesting, like, aside from the alcoholism in the family and all these other things, was that he tells him, and I should be specific with my pronouns, Tyler Henry tells Nico, you have a gift, and you have the gift of the medium.
That was a great thing.
I thought that was insane, because I was like, can you, like, that was my question for Tyler. If Tyler were to come on this show, I would say, at what point do you know that you're a medium? Because,
well, I feel
do
like...
you know from the time that you're a kid, does someone have to tell you? If Tyler Henry hadn't told Nico that, would he know? Or would he think that he's just a very intuitive person?
Well, I think I'm a big believer, because I am a high energy person myself. I'm really good at feeling people's energy. And sometimes if I base negative judgments on someone too soon, I kind of get hard on myself, because my instincts are telling me something that are so strong sometimes. I'm like, well, wait a minute, like I don't even know this person yet. We haven't even had like an official hangout. And so it can be a little strong. And so maybe Tyler is able to feel, people who have very high energy, or, able to kind of be very intuitive, because I feel like there are people who are more intuitive than others. So maybe that's something that Tyler has tapped into. I'm going to try to get through every single person, because this was the longest episode, and we only have about less than 15 minutes to do it. But yeah, Nico that whole thing was great, and I'm glad that he was able to give this whole gift to his mom, and that his mom was able to hear from her dad, I'm assuming.
Yeah, from Lou. And he kept apologizing because he didn't know he would pass. And that's the scary thing is where... Like, I guess we'll get to this at the end of this episode right now, but, like, where do you go when you die? And
well, he kind of answered that in this episode, and that freaks me out. So we're going to go to Coco and Ice-T.
Yeah.
Who everyone knows Ice-T, and I do know him, even though I didn't know his color, I don't even know, singular, plural, but his wife Coco is also familiar in the industry, because Coco and Ice-T had a show together on E, which tapped into their lives.
Ice loves Coco.
Yeah, Ice loves Coco, and I actually was really heartbroken that that's no longer on the air. I really liked that show.
But I kept saying, like, what is Coco famous for? I don't know what she's known for.
Well, she's kind of famous for, in a way, I don't think that she's Ice-T's manager per se, but she is kind of his right hand person when it comes to his career. I mean, she's really had his back, and so between that and the reality show, that's kind of her role,
Okay.
So I think she plays more than just the wife for him. She plays like the wife. She plays, I guess, the kind of, maybe she's not his full manager or agent, but I feel like she has some administrative positions, I guess, with that. Some oversight with his career, that kind of thing. So, yeah, it was really great to see them, and they were at the SLS Hotel in Beverly Hills, which I've hit up for, and their food is amazing. I just gave them a plug. You're welcome. So they were at the SLS. Tyler went to visit them there. And so Tyler really, he didn't even care and went straight to the boobs first and talked about Coco and her boobs.
Yeah.
So that was the thing.
I feel like that, like, she kept saying, oh my god, like, how did you know that? That's crazy. But I feel like when it comes to medical records, even though they're private, I feel like there's some way of figuring out that something happened with her. And with
I
her
don't know. I hope
implants.
my medical records aren't on Google.
I don't know. No, not on Google. I don't think you can Google it, but I feel like...
But I mean, where else could he have gone, though?
If you know she's had implants for so long and they're not normal-sized implants, they're huge, you already know that there's, like, a certain likelihood for your breast to turn, like, hard or for something to happen.
Well, I would like to think that Tyler doesn't do that much digging. I feel like if you do...
I don't think he does it. I think it's I think there has to be some people on the team that do their research, because with any TV show, you have people who are looking everything up. Like when you have a guest on a show, you have production assistants, you have researchers, you have a whole team of people behind you. So even though Tyler has no idea, maybe they've done their research and somehow like.
All right, so the skeptic character on this panel has officially been filled by Mina and not me. So I'm
devil's advocate. I'm not necessarily a skeptic. I'm just saying, what if?
Well,
so
that was
it's less
she's just
like
saying that producers vet people before they put them on TV.
And I totally hear that, but I heard some skepticism coming from you a little bit, and that's okay.
I go back and forth all the time,
and
so
that's
this is something that I'm so intrigued by. I want to believe in it, but another part of me is like, well, I won't necessarily believe it until I see it, but it goes back to the whole faith argument and like religion.
Right.
I mean, some people argue like, I'm not going to believe in God unless I see it, but you see things through the miracles that manifest themselves every day.
Absolutely.
So
and
if I saw something like this, I feel like I would become a believer.
Believe it? Well, I mean, you do not, if you go to our last season for our after shows, you do not have to explain yourself. I was not riding the fence at all. I was very skeptical, and I'll be very upfront, I'm skeptical because, and I'm still skeptical. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's God's role. I think that that people thinking that they can come on this earth and tell you what your future is, or when you're going to pass, or what you need to look forward to, or
but can't these
what they
people
need
be
to
like
tap into. But that's what Jen
God's
said.
Angels.
That's
or
what
something
Jen
like
said.
that?
That was her argument.
I don't know.
Is that there are people that we
like
all have
prophets, for instance. Like you have Moses, you have Muhammad, you have Jesus. So
exactly.
Like,
and we all have different gifts, which is the way that Jen put it. And when she said it like that, I was like, okay, but I don't know. I mean, psychics are kind of, because he's a psychic per se, but psychics kind of have that bad stigma too. I honestly, I feel like if I was to go to a psychic, which I really want to do, I feel like it would be bad luck on my life, just because I feel like that's not a person's role to tell me.
That's funny because
about
there
my
are certain
future
religions
or my
like
past.
Islam that say that it's totally forbidden.
It's
to
forbidden.
Do stuff like
I feel
that.
like it is totally forbidden. So
because you're playing God.
You're playing God, like you're playing his role of telling you what your grandmother from the past is saying, and what your future looks like, and what you need to look into when it comes to your health and that kind of thing. I feel like you need to look to God for those answers.
If it wasn't against your religion whatsoever, and it wasn't playing God, and you could have a psychic tell you one thing, and it was either something about your future, something about your past that allowed you, that has created how you are today, like some sort of personality flaw, what would you want to know?
I would want to know about my future. I would want to know if my dreams were going to come true. I would want to know.
That's brutal, because what if they're like, no? Exactly.
That's why Tyler's not going to read me. So, going on with Coco and Ice-T. So, he taps into Coco's boobs. Did you like how I put that? Taps into her boobs. And what else? They talk about, he brings up Spartacus, which is Ice-T and Coco's dog, and how Spartacus is going through some hard times with his leg.
An awesome name for a dog.
I know. I love that.
Like
I was thinking the same thing.
Dog.
I was thinking the same thing. And how I think the dog is going to get his leg amputated, or has he already had his leg amputated?
Something about a three-legged dog. But
a three-legged dog.
The thing was that, wow, how did Tyler Henry predict this? Which, I was kind of convinced with that one. I was like, okay, yeah, that's not something you can really look up unless she's Instagrammed it, and I've never seen anything like that. So
see there? That's a receipt. I don't know.
I don't know either.
So, yeah, and I also liked that that Ice-T was very open about his skepticism, and I think that that's very relatable for viewers to see, like myself. That even though he's on the show and, he's witnessing this for his wife, that he's not, he's admitted that, hey, I'm here. I'm not necessarily a believer. Maybe I'll be transformed after this. But I'm kind of I'm dancing around with this. I'm not really sure, how I feel. So I could relate to Ice-T in that, because I'm the same way. I would be completely freaked out, which we've already stated plenty of times just on this episode, that, I don't know if I want to get read, but, it would freak me out too a little bit. But yeah, I thought that the details with the dog was great. And
Ice-T is still a little bit of a skeptic at the end of it.
Yeah,
but Coco talks about how he's slightly convinced, so I don't know. Like, I just want to know the truth.
Well,
so
I feel like
badly.
the only way that we'll really know is if Tyler just comes on the show and he just puts his proof in the pudding, just in the flesh, And then what he did for Coco is he talked about Coco's grandmother and her grandmother's biopsy, which was supposed to be like a minor situation, and it ended up to her bleeding,
Yeah,
and
because
the
the
bleeding
doctor
couldn't be
accidentally
stopped.
poked one of her organs. Like, can you imagine? We don't think
I
about this
can't.
because doctors make
I think
mistakes
about it
too,
all the
but
time.
that's so crazy. Like, your life is in the hands of someone.
You know, I think about it all the time, and I don't really know if it's me just growing up and getting older. Naturally, obviously, the older you get, the more aware of life and the realities of life. You become more, I guess, aware of things. And, you know, when you're younger, of course, the naive me probably thought, oh, well, the doctor knows everything. You know, the doctor can cure everything. The doctor has all the answers. And then after going through my own family issues with health and doctor appointments, where I've had a family member go to the doctor and them falsely diagnose my family member with something that they didn't have at all. I think after that situation, I came around to say, okay, well, they don't really have all the answers. And who are these people that we're just depending, like we're giving our lives to? I mean, they put us under anesthesia, and it's like whatever happens, happens. And that's a pretty big deal. So yeah, I mean, for her grandmother to go in for a minor, something that's supposed to be minor, and her end up losing her life is, I think that would really frustrate me. If anything, if I was Coco or Coco's extended family members, especially Coco's mom, I don't know if I would ever find closure with that. That
Yeah.
it was something minor that could have been prevented.
When it's something preventable, I always think about
Yeah.
the Kanye thing, like with his mom.
With his mom,
how
yeah.
it was a cosmetic
That's a good parallel,
and it's
yeah.
like messed him up for
Yeah.
life, where he feels immense guilt for something
yeah.
like that. And I mean, I can't even imagine how you can live with yourself. It's not even your fault.
Yeah.
It's just a freak accident that happened, and you live with the guilt. So.
And then not only that, but his mother went under surgery for something cosmetic at that. Like
it wasn't even a big
it wasn't
deal.
even
It wasn't necessary.
it didn't even have to happen on top of that. I don't even know how, you know, to feel. Anyway, we have 5 minutes, so I'm going to dedicate this last 5 minutes to Alan Thicke,
Yes.
who passed away. And
I could not, like, I'm not even joking, like, I could not stop tearing up on this
Yeah,
bit. Like,
yeah.
this one was brutal.
It was pretty brutal.
It was very, very depressing, because
Yeah.
this is something that's actually happened recently. It's fresh, and Tyler Henry basically predicted Alan Thicke's passing in a weird way.
Yeah.
So
which
this
is why, goes back to what I'm
so
saying, which is why
sad.
like, I just could never hear a reading for myself, because if he had told me that, I would have even after that, I probably would have gone straight to Cedar Sinai. Like, you guys need to check me out. You know, I feel for his wife, and I give her props, because I don't know if I would be able to sit down with him so soon after his death at that. I
Yeah.
also don't know if I could live in the same home that we used to share. I would have to move. I would have
no
to
way.
move out. Yeah.
But at the same time, the hoarder part of me is like, I can't abandon this place with so
Oh,
many memories.
I could never. I
be
just
hard.
don't think. Yeah, I just don't think that I could, especially by myself. And I mean, let's be real. Alan and his wife aren't living in a 2-bedroom, so it's a pretty good-sized home. And the fact that her husband is no longer there and it's just her. I mean, you know, what's the point in keeping, you know, a good-sized home like that you can't share with your husband? Like, I don't know. I would pack it up. I would start like a you know, another, not willingly wanting to start another chapter, but it would be easier for me to cope with that if I wasn't having to
I'd
go in
rent
the
it
house.
out or like Airbnb it so that I could always return to it.
That's
the
a
way
good
it's
idea.
furnished,
That's
to
a
just,
good
like,
idea.
Take a break from it.
Yeah.
temporarily. But yeah, that was so depressing. I mean,
It was.
it
was.
It was hard.
And on top of that, his wife, and I don't even, for some reason, I don't even remember her name. Tanya revealed the name for the baby that they would have had, which was a beautiful name, Charlotte Isadora. Isadora,
yeah.
which is, I love the name Isadora. Thicke. And you know, she talked about how they had planned this life together, that she was so excited about, and how he was so healthy that she thought that, you know, he would at least have a good 20, maybe another 20 years on Earth, and that ended, you know, very unfortunately and shortly. So
I'm surprised Robin Thicke wasn't in there at all. You know,
maybe this was just something for his wife, because it was just him and his wife, Alan and Tanya, that did it to begin with. So maybe that was for her. Maybe Robin didn't want any part, which, you know, I can relate to that. I don't think I would want to sit down so soon with a medium to find out
It
what
would-
my
it would
dad
mess
is
with me emotionally.
Yeah,
and I would
don't
want to
know.
know, is there anything that I could have done to prevent
Differently,
it? Because
and-
Tyler kept saying, like, it was his time. So even though Tanya kept, you know, encouraging her husband her late husband to
Yeah.
go see a doctor, get his heart problems checked out. Honestly, if it's your time to go, it's your time to go, and it's just so saddening. But
yeah, and I mean, you know, that's the scary part about life that I think about often is that, you know, no matter what doctor you see, no matter what you're told, if it's your time to go, it's just your time, and it's inevitable. It's inevitable for everyone. We're not.
And the crazy thing is that Alan Thicke mentioned that he doesn't believe in an afterlife. So it's interesting. Tyler
I would
can
love to see
show
where
him coming through to Tanya.
Yeah.
When he said that he never believed in an afterlife to begin with.
And that's an interesting perspective, because for me, I was more so thinking, well, if he doesn't even believe in an afterlife, because you do have to believe in that. In my opinion, I think that you need to believe in that in order to pass on to that afterlife. So if you don't believe in that, what happens to your spirit? Anyway, we got to wrap it up.
I wonder too, because if you're Jewish, for instance, you don't believe in heaven or hell.
Where do you go?
Exactly. You see it as like, it's almost, in a way, it's kind of a beautiful thing, because you realize that it's just this life that you have, and you make the best out of it, and you try to be the best human being possible.
Well, you know what? Joan Rivers is Jewish, and I refuse to believe that a spirit as amazing as hers is not in heaven. I refuse to believe it. She's in heaven just like every other Jewish person that has passed, just like everyone. We are all meant to go to heaven. And on that note, we are going to close it out. Thank you so much for tuning into the after show for Hollywood Medium. My name is Ava Hill, and you can find me on Instagram at the Ava Hill, or on Facebook at Ava Hill. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. Jen, feel better. We love you. Hopefully she will be with us next week.
Hey, my name is Mina. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Mina Makes Magic. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you believe in an afterlife? What happens when you die? All the existential questions in this world. Share them below.
Yes, see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.